Sure you have questions?
Oh, just two, actually.
Okay.
Why do you call it the Predator?
It's a nickname. You know, the data suggests that it tracks its prey, exploits weakness, seems to, well, enjoy it. Like a game.
That's not a predator, that's a sports hunter.
Sorry?
A predator kills its prey to survive. I mean, what you're describing is more like a bass fisherman.
Well, we took a vote. Predator's cooler, right?
Welcome to Bodywork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. The question of the day is, did Lamont Roach Jr. finally arrive? And I think the answer to that is kind of tricky. Why? Because Lamont Roach was already on the scene. You know, Tank had tried to say that this guy was good. People who had been following boxing knew who he was, mainly a lot of the hardcores, not even all of the hardcores, right? Because boxing has really become a name brand sport, even to the point to where it's a lot of people with names that are hiding behind picking other names instead of picking legit competition. People that might give them a run for the money. Why? Because styles make fights. Well, fortunately for Lamont Roach, Tank Davis extended an olive branch, you know, and gave him an offer. And Tank took on a lot of criticism and said, listen, man, y'all gonna see, man, he's good, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, he went down, right? And then Lamont Roach, he came through. He went through the whole process. He perhaps gave Tank the most adversity we've ever seen Tank go through inside the ring. Now, we know Tank has had some adversity outside the ring, but we seen him go through adversity inside the ring, courtesy of one Lamont Roach. Well, I've recently seen him getting on with Shannon and Chad. He's now on with Cam and Mace and Stat Baby on It Is What It Is, right? And he's still talking this, right? Him and his father. And I thought it was a good look from a young man that's coming from the DMV that's having success, somebody outside of the Russells, outside of Tank. And I think the way he's speaking and conducting himself is commendable, right? Now, some of the things that he's saying, I think that, man, it's one of those things to where you feel like you got one up on your opponent, up on your op, and you kind of got the knife in there and you're twisting it and you're twisting it. You know, he came out and tried to say that Tank ass bettered him. You know, I know that's not sitting well with Tank. He came out and said that he gonna come out for the knockout next time. You know, I know that's not sitting well with Tank. And, you know, this controversy is another question about, does Tank need something to make him get up for the fight or whatever? And one of my things was, I was like, man, I think Tank had too much respect for him. Well, I think Lamont Roach he's going to make that, or if he hasn't already, that respect that Tank has is pretty much going to evaporate once they get back inside that ring again, right? I think that it's a fine line between poking the bear and then scratching the bear in the face and slapping it on his ass. You know what I'm saying? And I think Lamont Roach he's teeter-tottering on that line, and it's only the beginning because we just had reports of a potential rematch coming up in the summertime, right? But I want to point out some things, man. One, I want to salute Lamont Roach Sr., right? And he actually gave something that was very vital in that interview, where he gave the legit timeline for what somebody, you know, either that was in a young Tank shoes or a young Lamont Roach, a legit timeline as to how to realistically expect if you are one of them ones before you actually get on the scene and become a champion. And I think he said about 15 years plus from the time you start to the time you potentially have your shot. And that's when you get your first shot. You might have to go back to the drawing board, regroup, go back through the gauntlet again and get back up to a level and then get an opportunity to do it. And I think that's very important for the youth. So that was a plus. I think another plus is that Lamont Roach is not going to back down. You know, will he become overconfident this time? Maybe. You know, before he was saying it was a good fight, it was going to be a good fight. Now he's saying he's going for the knockout. I know in the build-up he said he was going to try to Viking Tank and all this, you know, if he got a chance or whatever. But I don't know if he really took a chance to try to knock him out. I do know, knowing Tank, being a huge fan, I do know Tank is going to try to knock his block off this time. I think it's more than enough irons in the coal. It's more than enough fuel in the fire. Snakes have emerged and shown who they really are in regards and what they're really about. Even content creators have gotten exposed in the fact that all they are trolls. You know what I'm saying? Threatening people and doing all kind of crazy stuff. And they really bring no legitimacy to the conversation around boxing. As Lamont Roach pointed out, called a couple of them out by name. Which I thought was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? That needs to happen because there's really no place for that in the sport. Right? And we all want to see the best fight the best. We all want to see a good scrap. But then some people could just take it too far. That's like somebody coming on your job or, if you running a business, coming up in your place of business and just, just all day, every day. It's different between just being a pure spectator, you know what I'm saying, and exceeding the lines into a pure D-hater, I took a lot from the interview from Lamont Roach, I'm glad that he's getting his time to shine. It's well deserved. And I do want to point out something. Tank is one of those guys to where he could put your name up in lights, to where everybody might have had a glimpse of who Lamont Roach was, but overnight Lamont Roach became, a star of some sorts. You know what I'm saying? Mainly with a lot of the Tank haters, but he definitely became a household name. Now, I don't know if it was because Tank brought out, Jim Jones and Jules, but it was a little different hearing Cam in that interview, man. It was almost like, but you know how Cam is. Cam been like that. He don't care. He just gonna say whatever it is. I think Mace kind of tried to have a little bit more political correctness, even though Mace can be just as nonchalant. But I do think that this interview is just another little thing, another little poke in the ribs, and now the question is, now that Lamont Roach has arrived officially in the world, not just arrived, but officially to everybody in the world knows his name, singing his praises, all of the fans, he gained a lot of fans, a lot of followers, he's getting a lot of pub, he says he knows what it feels like to be a celebrity and all that. Now that happens, the question is, can he do it again? How are those Vegas odds going to be this time? Are we going to get an even better fight? Could it possibly be a trilogy? Who knows? Only time will tell. All I know is, man, if I know one thing about everything I've seen from what Tank has showed us over the years, is that this don't sit well. So I'm a plea to Lamont, man. Hey, man, don't overdo it. You know what I'm saying? Salute. I'm giving him his kudos, but don't overdo it, man, because I think he may have given us exactly what we want, man. A reason for Tank to dig down in that tool bag, right? Start pulling out all them extra tools, right? And pull out all the stops in this next one. And I guarantee you it's going to be something to watch. I just think that it's a good thing that Lamont's getting his praises. I think it was a good thing that Tank got a lot of extra motivation. A lot of people criticize him as to whether or not he needs that. Now, I think, everybody needs something. Especially when it's like, that's your homie or y'all really cool and mutual and y'all actually got to go in there and try to knock each other's heads off. So I think, Bud is like that. With Bud, there's been time where Bud was saying, hey, tell him to say this and then I'm going to, do this and, he going to show up and show out. Well, I don't think we're going to have any question as to what's going to happen in this next fight and how motivated Gervonta Tank Davis will be. And I'm gonna keep a close eye on this, you know what I'm saying? I hope Lamont don't go overboard with it, but I hope he do enjoy his time. His time to shine, because it's your time to shine. But when we hit rewind and y'all do it again, can you do it one more time? Let me know in my comment section what you think. You know what I'm saying? Talk to me, I'll talk back. Thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.